Good evening. My name is Ynzo van Zanten, and I probably have the best job in the world. I get to talk about chocolate, and I get to spread chocolate to lovely people like you. Let me talk tonight about chocolate, the cocoa industry, and a small chocolate company in the Netherlands that I work for. But let me first take you through that magical moment when you eat chocolate. Because chocolate is the magical answer to just about everything. You had a horrible week, your dog ran away, you had horrible grades at school, chocolate fixes everything. You had a great week, your dog got puppies, you had good grades at school, chocolate is right there to celebrate with you. So, that magical moment, you take off the wrapper, shiny chocolate is just whispering your name, and you break off a piece of chocolate, put it in your mouth, and it melts in your mouth, and everything is perfect, right? It's that magical me moment, ultimate happiness. Your day is great, your life is great. The last thing you want at that moment is to be confronted with the misery, the dark side of chocolate, of the kids that are forced to work in the cocoa industry to make that chocolate for you. And in the next 10 minutes, 15 minutes, well, I have good news for you. You're going to go home with chocolate. But the chocolate comes with a price, because I'm going to tell you about the cocoa industry. I'm going to make you responsible. So if you don't want to be responsible, leave now, but leave your chocolate too. This is how the value chain of chocolate looks. Cocoa grows on trees that love to grow around the equator. So there's a little bit of cocoa from Asia and a little bit in Central and South America, but the biggest majority of cocoa comes from Western Africa, from millions of little farms in Western Africa. That's the one side of the cocoa industry. The other side of the value chain is you and I, who just love to eat a bar of chocolate every day, right? Billions of consumers like you and I. In the middle, there's only a handful of companies that produce chocolate from those cocoa beans. And that's exactly where the problem is, because this handful of companies just have the whole value chain in their hands. And they keep the price of cocoa low, inhumanly low in our opinion. Because of a bar that's sold on average for $2.65 in the stores, only 12 cents reach the farmer that actually grows the cocoa. And this farmer on average grows about 1,000 kilos of cocoa beans per year, for a price last year of €1.30 per kilo. So that's only 1,300 euros per year. With a wife and on average 4 kids, these families live well below the poverty level, well below the poverty level. And we think this value chain is very unequally divided. So how does that look? From just 2 countries in Africa, Ivory Coast and Ghana, comes about 60% of all cocoa from the whole world. This is grown on about 2.5 million farms, small farms, no large plantations, small farms normally. And on these farms, there's about 2.3 million kids that work there. And we don't really mind if these kids get to go to school and come home, pick up some cocoa beans, put them in a basket, and just help mom and dad with running the farm. Unfortunately, that's not reality, because 90% of these kids work under illegal circumstances. They are working with chemicals, with machinery, tools that are way too big for them, or they can't go to school. And in worst case, there's about 90,000 kids that are working under forced labor conditions. They are robbed from their parents, sold off as slaves, and don't get to go to school. I want to introduce you to a couple of these kids.
Je suis Kamsame Félix, j'ai 16 ans. J'ai travaillé dans une plantation de cacao de 1999 en 2003.
Cacao, 1999 en 2003.
On m'a pas payé.
On m'a forcé de travailler.
Je n'étais pas payé. J'étais forcé de travailler.
J'étais forcé de travailler. Je n'avais pas la liberté pour quitter l'école.
Et puis on vous laisse jamais causer entre parents. Si on te voit causer avec ton parent, bon, on te tue ou bien tu te mates très bien là et puis on te fait changer de compte.
So in 2001, there were two American senators, Senator Harkin and Senator Engel, that realized if there's only a couple of companies in the middle of that value chain that control the whole cocoa industry, we can easily fix the problem, right? So they asked the CEOs of these companies to put their signature under the Harkin-Engel protocol that would eradicate the worst forms of child labor in the cocoa industry. These CEOs signed it in the name of their companies, but also in their own personal names. Unfortunately, this was a so-called non-binding agreement, and that's where the problem was. So in 2005, there was a Dutch television show called Keuringsdienst van Varda, a television show that is an investigative reporter, and they look into the reality behind marketing. And Teun van de Keuken from the Keuringsdienst van Varda wanted to see how progress was going in the Harkin-Engel protocol. And he realized nothing had changed, and nothing had been done. So he tried to get in contact with these cocoa factories, and none of them wanted to speak to him. So Teun van de Keuken is kind of guy that gets angry within about 3 minutes. So you can imagine how angry he was when he was outside of the factory of Callebaut for about 2 hours, and nobody wanted to talk to him. And he went to the headquarters of Nestlé, and nobody wanted to talk to him. Now, this is a television reporter, and without television footage, he can't make a television show. So Teun thought of something smart. He bought chocolate bars from about 10, 15 companies, of which he was sure there was slavery in the value chain somewhere. And he ate each of these bars and put a camera on himself and called the police. And he said, I want to turn myself in as a chocolate criminal. It was quiet on the other end of the line. And he said, why? Because according to Dutch law, if I know of criminal activities in a value chain and I buy something, I'm responsible. It's called fencing. If you buy a stolen bicycle in the streets and you know it's a stolen bicycle, you're responsible. They didn't take him seriously. So Teun got himself prosecuted by a court of law. At least he tried to. And he got one of these boys as a witness to Holland. And unfortunately, in the court of law, the judge said, I can't prosecute you. Why? First of all, I'd have to put every Dutchman in jail because we all eat chocolate. And two, I can't prove the direct relationship between the beans that were picked by Co Herman and the bars that you ate. So Teun decided, then I'm going to change the system from within. And I'm going to start my own chocolate company. And he started Tony's Chocolonely. Tony, the international name of Teun, and Chocolonely for his lonely fight in the chocolate industry. And he made the first 5,000 bars of Tony's Chocolonely with fair trade chocolate in an alarming color, the red color. That's for the people who are always so angry that we put milk chocolate in a red wrapper. That's the reason. And a small company was launched, Tony's Chocolonely, a small company, but with a huge mission to not only make our own chocolate 100% slave-free, but to make all chocolate worldwide 100% slave-free. And we're a small company, but recently we've become the biggest chocolate maker in the Netherlands, but we want to go international to increase our impact even bigger. Now, we love this quote from Anita Roddick, the founder of The Body Shop, who died way too young. And she always said, if you think you're too small to make a change, just try to share your room with a mosquito. We're the mosquito in the chocolate industry. We're buzzing and stinging anywhere we can. And consumers are starting to move with us to buzz and sting. Now, our mission is huge, 100% slave-free chocolate worldwide, and very complex. But we try to put it in a simple roadmap. First of all, we try to create awareness. If all chocolate lovers start asking for fair chocolate, if all retailers start asking for fair chocolate, then the producers will be inspired, hopefully, to follow suit. 2, we want to lead by example. We have fully traceable cocoa beans, so we work directly with corporations in Ghana and Ivory Coast. We pay them a higher price. We help them to increase their efficiency and their productivity and the quality of their beans. We help them to organize into corporations. Thirdly, we want to inspire other companies to act. So we're working on a business model that we invite other companies to improve, copy, whatever. But we want them to move with us. So that's our roadmap. Now, we could have become an NGO or an activist, but we've become a commercial company, but a social business. So profit for us is not a goal, it's a mean towards a goal. Our goal is 100% slave-free chocolate. And we do that by being really crazy about chocolate. Yeah, we love to make weird chocolate. If you know our recipes, which we constantly innovate and love to make new stuff, we're pretty crazy about chocolate. If you walk into our office, and you're all welcome to come by anytime, in a work week, please. Come by, and the first thing you see is our kitchen, where we come up with these recipes. And we love chocolate, but we also love to give our friends chocolate. So come by, and you'll never leave without chocolate. We're really serious about people, though. In the first place is our own team. Why? Because we believe we can only reach that huge goal by having the most inspired and motivated people themselves. So how do we do that? Well, you get to take away as much chocolate every day from the office as you can physically carry. And to compensate, we give you free running shoes every year. Some employers don't like it when you get pregnant. We love it. We give you €1,000 in cash if you become pregnant. If you become pregnant with somebody else in Tony's, then you each get €1,000. That's our incentive for the Friday afternoon drinks. If you call your kid Tony, you get another €1,000. That hasn't happened yet. We have this alarm button in the office that if you hit it, all the disco lights go on and our logo starts flashing. Everybody starts cheering and shouting, and nobody has any clue why, but everybody's happy. And we love happy employees. And that's how we became the best employer of the Netherlands just 2 years ago. Secondly, of course, the farmers that we work with directly. There's 6,000 farmers in Ghana and Ivory Coast that we work with now through 6 corporations where we get our beans and they are fully traceable. Third are our consumers, people who eat our chocolate. If you call us, you don't get some kind of weird switchboard. You just get to speak to Sophie or Paul. And if Sophie or Paul are busy, then all the phones in the office go off because we want to talk to our consumers. We don't have business cards. We just give our bars to people. The phone number is on the back. Fourth are our customers. So the supermarkets like Albert Heijn and Waar and Wereldwinkels and Nationale Postcode Loterij. And fifth, the people that make our chocolate. So Callebaut, who makes the couverture, Kim and Althea, who make our bars, and the people who make our wrappers. Now, if you hear this story about how unequally divided the whole chocolate industry is, isn't it strange that for the last centuries, all chocolate bars were always made in these boring, square, equal blocks, with sometimes even the brand name on each and every block in case you would forget what brand you were eating? We thought we'd change that. Now, there's not any market research that you can do that tells you that it's a great idea to make your bar unequally divided. And trust me, the consumers didn't really like it either in the first few weeks. We got so many complaints, inbox was spilling over, internet was exploding. An example was this mother who said, "My kids used to live in perfect harmony." And trust me, I have 2 little kids, 8 and 10, and there's enough chocolate in my household, but still they're always bickering on who has the biggest piece of chocolate. So we always give them a piece of advice. Just give them each a bar of chocolate, then you're done. But we fixed it by calling all these people and explaining why we made our bar unequally divided. Because this chocolate bar of ours tells the story of the whole cocoa industry in its purest form. So it's just a discussion piece. You put it on your table and people will talk about it. Because we don't do any advertising. The bar is our advertising. Now, something that most people don't know is that we hid the map of Western Africa in our bar. And there's a nice little story there, because this is Ivory Coast, Ghana, and then on the right there's Nigeria and Cameroon, and in the middle there's 2 countries, Togo and Benin. But we love whole hazelnuts, and they wouldn't fit in either Togo or Benin. So we put Togo and Benin together as one block of chocolate, and we just don't tell this story over there. Now, this is how we believe that we can make chocolate 100% slave-free worldwide. Not just ourselves, but with the help of our consumers and the retailers, we can reach that goal. Now, I told you in the beginning that this chocolate that you're getting tonight doesn't come for free. And now that you know the story of the cocoa industry and of chocolate, we hope that if that one day comes that you have a horrible week that you need to fix, or this lovely week that you need to celebrate with chocolate, that when you're standing in front of the shelf of the chocolate in the supermarket, that you realize what's happening in the cocoa industry, and that you realize that everything that you put in your shopping basket is a vote for the world that you want to live in. Thank you very much.